All right, folks, I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA, and this is my stimulus update for Thursday, December 31st, last day of the year. Before we get into the update, I just wanted to let you know that tomorrow on our family channel, the Alec Family, we will be doing a live-streamed gender reveal of our second baby, baby number 2, who is currently cooking in my wife's tummy. We'll be live streaming it on our channel tomorrow, New Year's Day at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Link to that live stream is in the description below. And let me know in the comments down in this video your guess, boy or girl. All right, stimulus. As you know, there are two separate $2,000 stimulus checks bills out right now. One is the Democrats' version that passed the House floor, standalone bill, clean bill. All this does is increase stimulus payment from $600 to $2,000 across the board for adults and for dependents for the second stimulus check. The second $2,000 stimulus check bill is one of Mitch McConnell's own creation. McConnell says there is no realistic path forward for standalone $2,000 stimulus checks, so he has a bill of his own. We went over this a couple days ago. His bill only increases the amount for adult non-dependents to $2,000, leaving the amount for dependents at $600. And it also includes a repeal of Section 230, along with the creation of a committee to investigate voter fraud in the 2020 federal elections. Needless to say, Democrats will not be going for that bill. And yesterday on the Senate floor, Mitch McConnell called the Democrats' $2,000 stimulus proposal socialism for the rich, and said that the Senate will not split apart the three issues that Trump talked about in his statement: the $2,000 stimulus checks, the Section 230 repeal, and investigation into voter fraud. Here's the clip.
The Senate is not going to split apart the three issues that President Trump linked together just because Democrats are afraid to address two of them. The Senate's not going to be bullied into rushing out more borrowed money into the hands of Democrat rich friends who don't need the help.
McConnell said the Senate, and by extension himself, Mitch, will not be bullied into rushing out more borrowed money into Democrats' rich friends who don't need the help. Oh, poor Mitch. Such a bullied little victim, right? Eight-figure Mitch. McConnell said similar things on the Senate floor this morning. Now, what does he mean by this, right? Helping out Democrats' rich friends. What does he mean? Well, if you do the math, okay, as I have done in this spreadsheet here, under the Democrats' bill, you could still be having people, family of 4, making up to $310,000 a year, still get something of a stimulus check under that proposal. Okay, I did some examples here with a family of 4. So a family of 4 making $250,000 would get a $3,000 stimulus check under the Democrats' $2,000 stimulus check proposal. Family of 4 making $300,000 will get a $500 stimulus check. Okay, so that's what McConnell's getting at here, right? And he's using that as a reason why he doesn't want to put the standalone stimulus check bill that passed the House on the Senate floor. But if you look at McConnell's bill, right, I did the same calculus for him. If you look at McConnell's bill, you still have families of 4, right, making good money here, let's say $200,000 a year. They would still pull a $2,700 stimulus check, right? So it's like, Mitch, you can't have it both ways. Sure, I mean, the Democrats one goes higher, obviously, because it's $2,000 for every family member, as opposed to McConnell's, which is only $2,000 for the non-dependent adults, with an additional $600 per kid. But still, Mitch, I mean, this argument is pretty weak, in my opinion. But anyway, more importantly, this morning, Chuck Schumer called McConnell's bluff. Schumer said, okay, fine, Mitch, we'll vote on those things that Trump wants to vote on, Section 230, election fraud as well. Go for it, Mitch. But we want to look at them as separate pieces of legislation, separate from the $2,000 stimulus checks. Here's a clip.
I hope they all heard the reason they will not receive $2,000 checks is because Leader McConnell thinks it could wind up in the hands of, quote, Democrats' rich friends. Now, let's be very clear. There is one way and only one way to pass $2,000 checks before the end of the year, and that's to pass the House bill. It's the only way to get the American people the $2,000 checks they need and deserve. The House is gone for the session. Any modification or addition to the House bill can't become law. Either the Senate takes up and passes the House bill, or struggling Americans will not get $2,000 checks during the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. And Leader McConnell knows this. So he has said that the Senate can only vote on a bill that combines the checks with other unrelated partisan policies. Repeal Section 230, an investigation into the president's dishonest and bogus claims of election fraud. The Republican leader claims that President Trump insists that all three issues must be addressed in one bill. But of course, the president has made no such demand. President Trump couldn't care less about how the bills are packaged in Congress. So the Republican leader has invented an excuse to prevent a clean up or down, yes or no vote on $2,000 checks coming to the floor. This maneuver to combine all three issues is intended to kill the possibility of $2,000 checks ever becoming law. Just to prove it, let me make this offer to the Republican majority. We're willing to vote on the other issues that President Trump mentioned, all the issues the Republican leader says must be addressed, as so long as we vote on them separately. That way, $2,000 checks could become law, and we could debate all the president's supposed concerns. We can vote on setting up a commission to look at the president's roundly rejected claims of voter fraud. We'd also have the commission look at voter suppression and gerrymandering. That's completely unrelated to help Americans paying their bills. But we're willing to take a look at the whole picture. Just give us a vote on the House-passed bill so we can get help now to people who desperately need it. Heck, we can also have a vote on repealing 230. We can do it today.
Now, I think what Schumer's saying is perfectly reasonable here. I think it's perfectly reasonable to say, yeah, let's vote on all these issues, but let's not lump them together, these unrelated issues, into one bill. Schumer also pointed out that a fraction of the recipients of the Democrats' bill would be the top 5%, though, of course, high earners, as I pointed out in my spreadsheet, would still get checks. Then Bernie got up on the Senate floor and basically lambasted McConnell for calling the Democrats' $2,000 stimulus check bill socialism for the rich, and said that McConnell, who led the charge in the Senate for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, that is a prime example of socialism for the rich, that tax cut bill. But get this, folks. This morning, Lindsey Graham, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, was on Fox and Friends, and he said that in the new Congress, the 117th Congress, January 3rd, he wants a standalone vote on $2,000 stimulus checks, as well as standalone votes on Section 230 and voter fraud. That is sounding a lot like what Chuck Schumer is saying. Here's the clip from this morning on Fox and Friends.
Senator Graham, let me shift back to the Capitol Hill standoff and where things stand with the $2,000 stimulus checks for the American people. When President Trump first made that push, everyone said, no way that happens. Then, of course, the House did it. Now it's sort of sitting in limbo with Majority Leader McConnell, who says there's no realistic path forward. Where do you see things standing?
Well, I think if you had a standalone vote on the $2,000 check, it might pass. Here's the facts. 70% of Republicans don't want to go to $2,000. They think it's a $430 billion cost to the Treasury. They think it's an inefficient way of giving money to people who are hurting, because a lot of people making $75,000 or less haven't been out of work. But I'm with the president on this. I'm in South Carolina. Our economy is really hurting here. So McConnell is right. There's no way to get a vote by January the 3rd. The new Congress begins noon, January the 3rd. So the new Congress, you could get a vote. And here's what I'd like. I'd like a standalone vote in the new Congress on the $2,000 check. We have 7 Republicans who've already said they would vote for it. We need 5 more. I think if we had the vote, we would get there. But I want to vote on repealing Section 230. The untold story is that Democrats are in the pocket of big tech. President Trump wants 3 things: a commission to investigate fraud, $2,000 checks, and to repeal Section 230. I'm urging Senator McConnell to give us standalone votes in the new Congress after January 3rd on all 3 measures. And I would predict that if you had a standalone vote on the $2,000 check, it's better than 50-50 it would pass.
So just very quickly, Senator, sorry, Rachel, one follow-up on that, and that is, so if you do the standalone, what about the fiscal conservative aspect of this? You've heard some conservatives talking about you just can't add, 200, 300, 400 billion to the federal debt.
Well, it's $400 billion. They're not wrong to be concerned about the expense. They're not wrong to be concerned by the fact that this is not the most efficient way. There are a lot of people who make $75,000 or less a year that work for the government that haven't been laid off one day. But I've seen with my own eyes the destruction of small businesses in South Carolina. I am with President Trump on this. I think a family of four, if they got $8,000, it would help our economy. I think they need the $8,000. If the vaccine is on the way, I can't wait till it gets here in large numbers. But until then, our economy is hanging by a thread in South Carolina. So to my fiscal conservative friends, I understand your argument, but I think the facts on the ground throughout the country would require us to do more than 600. 600 is not enough. 2,000 is about right, in my opinion. And I'm willing to vote. And here's what I want Senator McConnell and Democrats to do. Give us a vote on three things, not one thing. Repealing Section 230, a commission to investigate fraud in this election, and a vote on a $2,000 check.
And in that clip, Graham said he believes there are 7 Republicans on board with this. Keep in mind, though, that 2 of those are Loeffler and Perdue, who are, in the Georgia runoffs next week. So, best case scenario for Dems, in which Loeffler and Perdue are defeated. Dems and independents have 50 votes in the Senate. Republicans also have 50. Unless they do away with the filibuster, right? They would still need 10 Republican votes to get to 60 for cloture. But now Loeffler and Perdue would be gone, right? So instead of 7 Republican votes remaining in support of standalone $2,000 stimulus checks, they would only have 5, and they would need to round up 5 more. Okay. All right, folks, that is my update for today. Unless there is big stimulus news today, I don't expect there will be, but unless there is, this is my last stimulus update on the channel for 2020. Thank you for letting me share this wild ride this year with you, and I look forward to continuing covering stimulus and personal finances and taxes and tax software and credit cards and money-making apps and all that stuff in the new year as well. I hope you all have a happy and safe New Year's Eve, and I hope to see you all at the gender reveal tomorrow on the Alec Family Channel at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. You'll see a link to it on the next screen. You click that link, set a reminder for yourself on YouTube, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.